don't know why you're watching, but this channel is boring. I'm Ernesto and I'm boring too. You can watch anything. Anything is better than this.
Couldn't look away from the train wreck. You can blame it on the tech or the disrespect before you play back. Button check. Button check.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to yet again a beautiful morning of checking these buttons. It is Saturday. The weekend is here. We're back as promised. Hope you guys enjoyed that intro. Thank you for tuning in once again. We definitely got some hot clips, which we're about to jump into, but we also got a really important topic. It's a different style, if I could talk. It's a different style today, so I actually put timestamps throughout the video. That way, if you're more interested in one particular subject than another, you can just click on the timestamp below and jump straight to it. And last but not least, we're also going to go into the whole how this is very similar to the Mike Ross experience. You know, how that whole situation unfolded with his experience with esports in Capcom, and how this is very similar and has a lot of people in the community just questioning the lack of respect or appreciation that Capcom seems to be showing towards the community.
Anyways, we're gonna get it started. Blah, 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 blah.
Right now I'm winding up for my EX flash kick. Look at that. She got hit. Look at her damage. She got hit. Watch this. Watch Pie's magic. Watch Pie's magic. What?
What the fuck? Ha! I can do that too. Jump. Whoa! Did you see that jump? Did you see that jump timing? Yo, you can't dash on me, bro. Oh, and he rage quit.
Time over. Colleen wins.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, we are here with the expert himself, Mr. FrameTrapped Tom, all the way from Scotland. Thank you, sir, for doing this. I understand it's very late where you are right now.
It's all good, Ernesto. I'm all happy to do this. It's all grand. I'm up late anyway, so we're all good.
Thank you. Just so you guys know the time difference, it's only like 5 o'clock where I am, but it's like midnight where Mr. Tom is. So thank you very much for the love, man. I appreciate it. I actually met this gentleman about 2 years ago at Evo. He was beatboxing on stage, rocking the mic, and now he's here. He's the master when it comes to all the hitbox analysis, frame trap, all that good stuff. Now, I noticed you posted the tweet like we were talking about earlier, talking about it was like kiss your hitboxes goodbye. Got a lot of attention. A lot of people are still replying. I really don't think it's really sunk into the FGC yet because it's kind of low key right now. That just basically just came out.
I'm not sure people quite understand what it was that I was trying to imply from it, because it is just an obscure link to SteamDB, but right. Basically, it's a link to an entry on the depots for Steam on the Street Fighter 5 page, which shows that they're adding something called crack proof to which is third-party DRM to Street Fighter 5.
Ah, okay.
So for those who don't know, DRM is digital rights management software, which restricts how the software is presented or messes it up or mixes it around to make it harder to reverse engineer for modders or hackers like me, and makes it very difficult to tamper with, which is usually centered around protecting IP and protecting copyright, and also protecting like online services and games.
Right.
But with how this has been introduced, I think it's going to basically destroy every useful tool and mod out there. It's going to basically make it impossible to help us maintain it as easily as we have.
Yeah,
So.
and I know you were talking about earlier how it doesn't make sense to implement something like this at the end of the game. Like they should have did it a long time ago, basically, if they were going to do something like this.
Yeah, like this is season 5 now. Like why are they releasing a DRM update for it? Usually with DRM, you want to protect your IP from people who are trying to steal it or people who are trying to use it for malicious reasons.
Right.
Usually as well because you have to stop people from cracking it in order to use your game, but these services are all on Steam. They're all generally quite secure, and they've already made the overwhelming majority of their sales already for PC, for PlayStation.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense professionally to put DRM in at this point in time.
Right.
If their user base is healthy, there's no reason to go around screwing it up.
You've been doing this, other people have been doing this, I think namely you though, to help the community, to support the community, to help people learn how to play the game. So for them to implement something like this to basically take it away, I mean, how does that come across, you think, to the community, especially yourself?
Careless and without any concern for what these tools actually do for the FGC. I've been doing this for nearly 8 years. I was very late to the FGC scene and wanted to try putting my skills to it to try and understand fighting games a bit better after my friends showed me how technical it can get with frame data. And that's what got me into the combo trainer, which then got me into making FrameTrapped, which then introduced hitboxes to the game. From there were other projects who were doing hitboxes, and I was like, hey, I can actually do this better. So I ended up doing the whole thing for 7 years now, and it's gone all the way through Street Fighter 5. So, and I'm not the only one. Like, there are numerous modders, numerous hackers out there, numerous frame data monsters and labbers. Like, there's too many to list. Like, there's numerous ones my friends are on Twitter who I'd love to shout out, but they all use these kinds of tools to help make the websites, the apps, the frame data apps, the recording software that you guys use to be better at the game, to investigate the game, to look at the moves, understand the frame data for your characters, understand the nuances of why the fuck did that hit that point? Why am I getting bashed in the back of the head at this? Why is my hitbox behind me? Like, all of these different things are there because we've helped develop the tools and release them for free to the FGC. We're not getting money off of this. We barely scrape. The only things that we've been able to do are donations and the occasional drive to kind of go, oh yeah, we'll release this. I think it's cost me about 10 to 12 times more than I've received ever in donations.
Damn.
For keeping these services up and making sure the website's up and running, making sure to spend time on this. And that's a fraction of what it costs for some of my friends who release apps like the ones that you see on Street Fighter Diff and FAT. Like, it's not because we're trying to make money out of this. We're doing this because we love this community, because we want to get better at the game, because we want others to get better at the game. So to then have Capcom come around and kind of add this DRM kind of unnecessarily, I don't understand the motivation for it at all. Like, I've been I'm a lead software engineer by trade. I've been in software engineering for 15 years now. So I've not seen anyone put DRM in this late in the game in any product. And so it doesn't make sense. I really want to see their motivations for adding this.
Right. And going back to what you said, you haven't received like any money from this or anything like that, as far as like from Capcom, or on that note, any thanks. But like we talked about earlier, is you did receive a cease and desist from the company, them basically telling you, hey, you need to stop doing this, even though you were helping the game and bringing more people to play the game and understand the game. They said, we want you to stop. But I love your response, which was kiss my ass. Basically was. I was like, well, the cease and desist came when I was doing it with Street Fighter 4.
And I was like, hang on, guys, I've been trying to get in contact with you for years now.
Yeah.
And I even sent you a proposal to get this all licensed. You've had your chance, and I'm legally allowed to do this in the UK on my own. You literally can't stop me. This is symbiotic in nature. I'm perfectly in my rights to reverse engineer whatever I buy, digital or otherwise. And your EULA doesn't change a thing about that.
Yeah.
And so they kind of went, all right, we'll leave it where it is then, and we'll just kind of turn a blind eye. And they did, and they were, all hunky-dory with it. And so I agreed not to, do anything to damage anything about the game. And I was like, I've always been adamant that I don't want to damage their IP in any way. I don't want to harm the game. I don't want to do hacks so that people can cheat on the rank ladder. I don't want to do any kind of cheat so that people get an advantage out of the game that they're not meant to have. This is just so that you can show information in it. One of the best features I've got on there is something inspired by Tool Assisted, which is to read out the frame data as you're doing it.
Right.
So you can always get the advantages that are actually realistic for setups, and it will audibly tell you in text to speech, and it works with screen readers. Right. So the blind gamer Sven, who won the CP Capcom. Capcom Pro Tour, Road to Capcom Pro Tour, I think, a couple of years ago. He won one of the entries. He actually uses the software now to get live data. And I know a couple of people have said, oh shit, no, I actually use this to train with the tools online. They won't be able to do it anymore. If this tool goes down, those accessibility features that we've created to help blind gamers just disappear. Yeah. Overnight. If this breaks it, which I think it's incredibly likely it will.
Damn. So like you were saying earlier, we're going to find out pretty quick what the results are going to be with this thing.
Yeah.
And it'll
be very obvious once they've patched it if it'll break things. So we'll know very quickly once the patch is out if the game's basically crack proof now from, literally the name's called crack proof. So we'll see if it works.
That's the other thing too. I wanted to say the cease and desist thing, like we talked about earlier, you're not the first. Sadly enough, I've heard of other well-known players. I won't say their name because that's not my business to put out, but trust me, everybody in the FGC knows who they are. They also received a cease and desist for some training stuff that they were trying to provide the community. Really pissed them off, really upset them. And it's one of these things, man. It's one of these things that it just seems like there's so many people trying to give back to the community, to expand the FGC, especially when it comes to Street Fighter, because so many of us are Street Fighter fanboys. We grew up loving the game, and we talked about how there's very wonderful people that work for Capcom, and we've met some of the representatives. You've met some of the representatives.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're amazing people, but unfortunately,
every single person I've met from Capcom, the individuals have always been helpful, supportive, wanting to listen, wanting to improve the scene, invested in the scene, like emotionally and through what they were able to provide us by Capcom. They want the game to succeed. They're not the ones that are actually making the decisions like this, though. This is a very business-centric decision. Nothing about this says anything about community. Nothing about this says anything about making it better for the individual player. So
I know. It's man.
So personally, I'm done. I've spent 7 years of my life on it.
Man.
If they're not gonna appreciate it in any way,
it literally sounds like you're this close. You're this close to making one of those Mike Ross videos where you're just sitting on the sofa and you're like, "What the fuck is esports?" That infamous video he made where he's just sitting on the sofa talking about esports. You're there about to talk about this shit, but it sounds like the same thing because, like I was saying earlier, I remember talking to Mike when we were on the verge of Street Fighter V coming out. He was excited, not necessarily about the game because he hadn't really got his hands on it like that yet, but he had all these plans of working with Capcom. He was talking about they were going to promote a lot of his stuff. He had excitement in his voice. This was right around the time when Capcom Pro Talk was like just spiking, and we were talking about me possibly going over there and being on the show. I was fucking excited. There was a lot going on. This was before Button Check. So anyway, he had all these high hopes and expectations. Capcom this, Capcom that, and then 5 dropped. And then it just seemed like shit hit the fan. I wasn't there for everything that went on, so I can't tell you exactly how Mike ended up feeling the way he felt, but it was obviously real. We all saw it. I talked to him a little bit after that as well. And it comes down to the same point that you're in right now, is just the lack of appreciation. The lack of, like, he even said he was using his own fucking money to fund Capcom Pro Talk. Capcom Pro Talk. He was investing in that shit. So you would think that they would be grateful and be like, oh man, you're doing such a wonderful job bringing, you know, just so many more people to the scene, to our game, introducing. No. So it blows my mind when you hear stories like that, stories that continue on, and then you hear this story. And like I said, I hate to, the more we talk about it, I just feel like I'm bashing them, and I don't want to feel like that. But it does seem shitty, man. It leaves a sour taste. But with that,
you don't want to bash them, but when they hand so many opportunities to you on a silver platter, it's
exactly.
It's like, at what point do you not take the offer?
Exactly. You know what's funny is like we said, the people that we've met and the people I see that post on their Twitter, Capcom fighters, they're wonderful, man. I like these people. Mr. Tom, FrameTrapped, thank you, man, for all your time.
It's been a pleasure.
Not really sure how this is gonna end out, but it's gonna turn out good, man. We're gonna post it for Saturday. Thank everybody for tuning in, man. Thank you guys. I'm gonna put his information in the description field below. Show him some love, man. He's been doing his thing for us, for the FGC, for a long time. And a lot of people don't know about this guy, but he's the genius behind a lot of these things that we are using to learn to play the game and make us better, man. I just think he needs his props.
You take kind.
He needs his no, you do, man. You're a great guy, man.
Absolute pleasure, mate. Absolute pleasure.
I appreciate it, man. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for all the love. We'll see you today is Saturday, so we're gonna see you Monday with more button checks, checking them buttons. Thank you guys. Love you forever. Peace.
Blah, blah, blah. Subscribe.
Thank you for watching, guys, and I hope you subscribe to my daddy. Peace.